look, we understand Ben Simmons was hurt, but still.
I'm glad you said that.
Right.
You know what? Because we do acknowledge that, yes, they were hampered by not having him, but it's been 3 years, Chris.
Right. Swept. Now, I would have picked Boston anyway, even with Ben Simmons there, but still, they got swept like a piece of dust on the floor from the Boston Celtics, and that's going to be a great second-round series. Boston, Toronto, both of them swept their first-round series. But now the question is what to do in Philly. Of course, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, the two young stars there. And they fired their coach, Brett Brown, today. I think, look,
no shocker, 7 years.
Long time coming. And I think, Rob, they made a big mistake. What was the team of the bubble and the coach of the bubble was Monty Williams and the Phoenix Suns. Monty Williams, if you remember, Rob, was an assistant on the 76ers staff. And people thought that the Sixers were actually going to hire him. It was like last year and move on from Brett Brown. Instead, they decided to keep Brett. They let Monty go to Phoenix, and they were 8-0 in the bubble, and they got a nice little thing going there. I think they should have hired Monty Williams last year and got rid of Brett.
I think it's hard to fire a coach. I know they didn't get past the second round. You lose in the Game 7 on the Kawhi bouncer. Do you know what I mean, Chris? Like that's tough. No,
I hear you, but
all I'm saying is,
you know, it had been talk.
I know. I'm just saying,
he had not been achieving much with them in June. But I hear you they didn't go out in they didn't get swept,
fashion. Right? You know what I mean?
They can say we're bounce away, right?
Exactly. And I'm just saying that probably is what saved his job. Would you you know what I mean? The looks of it. Because it would be like, how did he get fired? They just lost in 7 games of a tough series. I don't think people would have tripped,
but you're right. I mean, it was like you can look at it like, hey, they were a bounce away from taking out the NBA champions, the eventual NBA champions, so we're close. So I get what you're saying. But anyway, they're looking for a new coach. And Rob Parker, you wrote a column on Deadspin.com today. I'm just going to read the title, and then I'm going to let you take it away. It's time to distrust the process. That's a nice one. And break up these loser Sixers. There you go, being mean-spirited.
Well, I can't help it. I mean, it got your attention, though.
You didn't do the headline, though.
I didn't write the headline,
okay,
but my point in the column was, I get the injury. I'm not blind to it, Chris. They've made some blunders in the front office, right? Butler left. Tobias Harris got the big deal. J.J. Redick, who they needed as a shooter perimeter. Right. Fultz, who was a total bust. Right? Horford didn't work out.
Hold on. Here's the thing with Fultz, though. Not only did they make the wrong pick, Rob, but they traded with Boston to get the number 1 instead of number 3, and they grabbed Fultz, and who does Boston get with their pick? Jason Tatum.
Exactly.
Can you imagine him on this team?
Exactly. So the front office hasn't helped either. But, Chris, if I'm the 76ers, I might have to look at it. And we had just had Mike Breen on, and of course, the voice of the NBA. And the problem I have is those two, I'm not so sure they really go together.
Right.
That's my biggest issue, and that's why I would want to move on. It's not that they can't play. And in this man's NBA, if you can't shoot, I just don't know how valuable you are. I know people love Ben Simmons, Chris. He can't shoot. In transition, he has to be, or in the paint. You have a big guy who can score. Even yesterday, Embiid, 30 points, 10 rebounds. It wasn't like he had 6 points or something.
Right.
So I think you could still build off of him if you could get some other shooters or maybe trade for a draft pick. You need shooting in this man's NBA. So I would part with Ben Simmons, who has his own injury thing. I understand the Embiid thing. He's owed Chris 3 years, $95 million.
Right.
But Ben Simmons signed last year.
They're both max
5 years for $170. You know what I mean? So he's got a lot of money tied in. And as good as Ben Simmons is, and I recognize him as a talent, I would move on from him and stick with Embiid.
What I would do, Rob, is I would not split them up just yet. I would bring in a new coach that I believe through what he tells me and shows me in the interview and from his track record. A guy that knows how to maximize, or I believe can maximize these two together. And you quoted a former NBA coach in your story as saying something similar. What did he say?
He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he said, I wouldn't break them up, honestly. Honestly, I wouldn't break them up. I think they can coexist. It's up to the coaches to be creative enough offensively to put them both in situations to be successful. They also need more shooters on the floor. So that's my mentality. I would give it – these two are so good individually. Ben Simmons, we all remember him in the draft. And look, for all his lack of shooting, he's arguably the best defender in the league. He's a great defender. And he still gives you, 16, 8, and 8 on the offensive end. So he's a very good player. Obviously, Embiid, we know what he does individually. They're just too good for me to break up now when I feel like my coach just didn't get the best out of them. So I would bring in that coach, whoever it may be, give him a season to try to put these two together.
Try to do something different?
Right.
Okay.
And then if they go out prematurely again and it's just not working, then I would split them up. And, Rob, here's what I would trade Embiid. Right now, I mean, look, we'll see what happens next year. Is Embiid spectacular and Simmons struggles again? We'll see. Maybe that would change my mind. But right now, I would trade Embiid and then, and actually, I think the coach said this in your article, and I would play Ben Simmons like Milwaukee plays Giannis.
Right.
So I would trade Embiid for like a perimeter star who can shoot and then a couple other shooters and put them around Simmons. And, he can bring the ball up. He can, he's a great passer. He can score in the post. And I would just play off of him either pushing the ball or when he's in the post with the ball, getting double teamed, passing out to shooters, and go from there. Embiid, look, obviously he's a great player, but Embiid to me, Rob, and this is I like this discussion because he's certainly not Shaq, but people think, you couldn't have a Shaq in today's game. It's just there's space the floor and, you're trading 2 for 3 and all. No, the problem with Embiid, you could have a Shaq in today's game. And Shaq would have the mentality where he would put 40 on you. He would punish you again and again and again in the post,
I agree with
right?
that.
Whereas Embiid, and I used to blame Simmons for it. Simmons is in there, you put him down low because he can't shoot, and now Embiid's fading out to the 3. No, because Embiid fades out to the perimeter anyway. He's out by the 3-point line or his post up. He's letting them push him out to 15, 16 feet where he gets his entry pass. And then he faces up instead of being a big man and playing down low. And so Embiid has to develop the mentality where in today's NBA, where there aren't really any great big men other than me, I am going to average 30 plus. Because
they're going to give me the
you know
ball every time, and I'm going to keep doing it until
they double or triple me.
Exactly. No, I agree with that, and I don't understand why that wouldn't be the game plan, considering
that's why
nobody,
I said get a coach
nobody can guard him,
right?
Nobody can guard him. I agree. I just want you to sell me a little bit more on Simmons, because how do you make it to this level, Chris? How do you make it to this stardom where you don't have a jump, you don't have a jump shot? I get it, going to the basket. I get all the other stuff. You would think you're just there taking 1,000 shots every day, or you got, Chris, you would develop a baby hook, whatever it is, something that you could just toss, or what do they call it, a teardrop?
Well, he's all right around the bucket, right? The runner, the teardrop,
right,
floater,
that stuff, right? But I'm just saying, like something that could be consistent that you can do. I find it unbelievable. And then he stays away from the 3. I think he made his first 3 last year. Didn't he make his first 3 last year?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know if it was his first. It might have been his first, but he hit one and it was like,
I bet you it was
his first one, yeah.
Was it Rob G? Check
it was
that
like
out.
the world. It was like a celebration, you know. Look, I get how he can get to this level because he's so big and he's just a great player that he could dominate college and obviously high school without the jumper. But the fact that he has not developed a jump shot, Rob, that is a failure on his part and on the Philadelphia 76ers part.
I agree.
Get somebody in, and this is, look, Josh Richardson said it on the record. There was a story in Yahoo by Chris Haynes, friend of the show, FS1 colleague, who said that players, just felt like Brett Brown wasn't holding them accountable. This is an example. You have to have somebody in the organization. And I get it, Rob. We've been around the NBA and other pro sports long enough to know these guys make so much money.
It's hard to tell them anything.
Right. But you got to have somebody in there.
But Chris,
that can
once
tell
you give
these
somebody
guys, shoot, you got to learn how to shoot, Ben.
But
you
once
got
you give
to
somebody
take jumpers.
But he's saying, what are you talking about? You just gave me a 5-year, $170 million contract without a jump shot.
Right.
You know what I mean,
Right.
Chris? Seriously.
Right. No,
you just
look,
paid
that's
me.
fair,
If you told me without a jump shot you're going to make 90 and with a jump shot 170, I might
Right.
change that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
what? Is that
But
what I need to do to
somebody
get 170?
Right. I hear you. And I always say this, Rob, and this is true in every sport. But there are guys that love the game. There are guys that like the game and love what the game brings. The fame,
doubt.
the money. That's actually true in every field of endeavor.
You notice you
But,
talk to
right?
football players. There's a lot
Yep.
of guys who don't like football.
Right.
But
It's a way
they
to
can
make
make
money.
money. They can make a living.
Yep. And I think the guys that love the game are the guys that improve. And even when they get the big money, even when they get the star status, they still work on their game and improve. You can see LeBron James loves the game. He's done everything you could do, and he's still working his butt off to try to win. And there are other guys that once they get that money, they have a great contract year. Once they get the money, they relax and they don't improve, or they get worse. And so I got to question how much Ben wants to be a superstar, because nobody's asking him to be Klay Thompson. But my goodness, shoot the ball. But here's why I would build around him, Rob, because even though he can't, like Giannis isn't much of a shooter. But you see the success that the Bucks have because they put shooters around him. Now, it don't hurt them in the playoffs. I think these teams going to box in the paint, keep those straight line drives closed up for Giannis, and force somebody else to beat him. And I think that could be the Bucks' downfall. But they're obviously one of the elite teams. And I think as good a passer and playmaker as Giannis is, Ben Simmons is a better passer and playmaker. And Ben can score in the post. So without Embiid in the post, it would all belong to Simmons. So I would build around him and have shooters around him.
It'll be interesting. I'm interested to hear because what was surprising was that column got good play, Chris, and the people from Philadelphia, a lot of people actually agreed with me. I was a little surprised. I thought I'd get some pushback, but I got
a
more
lot is
positive.
4, I know.
Yeah, 4 people said that they agreed and 2 said they disagree. Is that all?
I'm just messing with you. It was a good column. It was a good column.
Yeah, it was a talker. All right, let's kick it off with Buck in Birmingham. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Buck?
Buck. Going once. Okay. Go ahead, Buck.
Yes, as a lifelong Sixer fan, let me state my case. I thought I wanted to get rid of Ben Simmons, but after his defensive prowess, what we need to do is take the ball out of his hand, man. He can't play point guard. After watching Denver and Utah last night in that shootout, we need a point guard that can shoot 3 points. We don't have no complimentary players. Why go get rid of the coach? In Game 3, the Sixers have missed so many shots, I just couldn't believe it. They had the opportunity to win. They couldn't shoot. You got to shoot that rock, man.
So you want to trade Simmons? Is that what you're saying?
No, don't trade either one of them. Just take the ball out of Simmons' hands. We need to keep him. I thought I wanted to get rid of him, but he plays too good a defense. What have you noticed? And when you watch the Sixers, when Simmons playing, he bringing the ball up court. Man, you can't be the point
he was
guard,
their point
man.
guard.
Right.
We need a
He
point
needs to
guard
be able
that
to
can
shoot,
3
period.
points.
Right. He needs to shoot.
Right.
Hey, thanks,
yeah.
Buck. We appreciate the call. Max in Georgia, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Max?
Hey, guys. Good evening. I just wanted to make a quick shout-out to Reggie Miller. Happy 55th birthday. 8 points in 9 seconds. Very impressive shout-out to him.
Yes,
Real quick,
indeed.
so,
You know what, Max? The only thing that's more impressive, I was at that game, and he pushed down Greg Anthony. I was sitting
certainly did.
courtside.
There's no question
I
about
was
that.
sitting right on the baseline, Max. I could see it clear as day. I'll never forget that
Unforgettable.
moment.
Yeah, he totally
Unforgettable.
shoved it.
Hey, let me run this by you guys. What do you think? So I think you got a West Coast team and an East Coast team. The Lakers got 4 guys coming up. You've got DeMarcus, you got Avery, you got Anthony even, and Rajon. Now, you may not keep all of that. Maybe you can move some pieces. But I think I would ship Embiid first, Rob. I think I would. His health, his lack of energy, his lack of enthusiasm. I don't like that. I think he's a great talent. My biggest thing with guys is effort and energy. And if you're not bringing both of those, I don't care how much talent you got.
But, Max,
I don't
if
care
you
what you've
can't
done in the
shoot
past.
in a league where you got to be a
Well, Rob,
You
let me
don't
throw this
need
at you.
5 shooters, but you
Let me
need
throw this at
at
you.
least 3, if not 4.
Right.
Yeah.
The Raptors, Kyle Lowry, Pascal, Serge, Marc Gasol, Fred VanVleet, you know they're not going to be able to probably keep all those guys. So I would try to make a move. I like Pascal a lot. I would like to get Pascal or Fred VanVleet even. I know it's an East Coast rival, but I'd like to see what you guys thought about that. I appreciate you guys. Have a good
All
night.
right, Max, appreciate the call. What about Mark in Sacramento? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mark?
What's going on? Welcome back, Chris.
Thank you, my man.
Hey, real quick, if I was going to trade either one of them, it would be Embiid because I think Simmons has Magic Johnson type skills, and you got to get him a shot. Somebody go get the boy a shot.
No,
I remember
no question.
I remember Jason Kidd didn't have much of a shot either, and he found one.
Right.
And so did Magic. Magic
Right.
wasn't very much of a
Magic
shooter.
was a set shooter, but he
Yeah.
could hit it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he could hit it. But it can be done. Heck, I'm watching him fix young ball boy. His shot looks better. Go get that, coach, because his shot now looks better. You can get this boy a shot. He needs to shoot the ball. You guys are right. But he's got Magic Johnson skills, and without Embiid there, that opens up the floor for him to get some more shooters. I think you see a more explosive Ben Simmons without Embiid there, if you ask me.
Look,
I don't
if
doubt
you know,
it because
you
they're in the
what?
same spot.
Yep. And there, look, if Jason Kidd, and you remember, Rob, when he entered the league, he couldn't shoot a lick. To me, his shot was more I mean, we really don't see Ben's shot, so it's hard to say whose was
Well, it
more
depends on
broken.
who you're talking about. Are you talking about Tony Braxton or making baskets? You know
Look
what I'm
at you.
saying?
Look at you. But Kidd's shot was terrible. And he became a really good three-point shooter. So it can be done. You're not going to become Klay Thompson or Steph Curry, but you can become a pretty good shooter, an adequate shooter if you work on it. And so it shows you Ben just hasn't worked on his J. Either that or he has a mental block that when he gets in the game, he's afraid to take the shot. But I do agree with these guys. I would build around Simmons. But you heard Max. He brought up so he brought up the Lakers. I don't think that's even makes feasible. Like, could you imagine AD, LeBron, and Embiid? If I'm the Lakers and I can get it, I do that and I go old school, right? I'm trying to just kill people inside, but I don't think that's possible. I think Miami's a good trade. That's been brought up. Try to trade because Butler and Joel Embiid were great friends in Philly. You send Embiid down there and get some of those shooters out of Miami. You got Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. I mean, and
I'll tell you, and the problem though is you won't get past Miami either. You know what I mean? That's Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what Embiid would do. Would he still be the guy floating out to the perimeter, or, I think Pat Riley, we know he knows how to coach big men. So, and I know he's not the coach,
right.
but he's got the ear of Spoelstra, obviously. So, it'd be interesting. That would be interesting. But I need to get a haul for either one of them. I'll tell you that.
No doubt. Oh yeah, no doubt. All right, let's do Andrew in Massachusetts. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Andrew?
How you doing, guys? Thanks for
Andre.
taking my call.
Yeah, just Andre, why did they put Andrew? I'm just going to say.
That's Rob G. He admitted it was his bad.
Okay.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry for putting you on blast, Rob G.
You know, to the business, though, Chris, I think you're on the right track in terms of the Miami angle. I, again, would build around Simmons. It's a guard-oriented game, and then a lot of great points made. Also, for me, the clutch connection. You know, Ben Simmons is a clutch sports guy, you know, so trying to leverage that to get other stars in. But to your point about Miami, I don't believe they're going to extend Bam right now. I think they've made that public. You know, and Embiid being friends with Jimmy Butler, that could be an opportunity where, and you mentioned Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, you get a post player, you get a guard, you know, kind of a win-win, and then that would be a rivalry going forward in the Eastern Conference. So,
interesting thing is Bam doesn't shoot either. I don't hate it because obviously Bam's a great player, and defensively you'd be ferocious with Bam and Simmons. But he doesn't shoot it either. I don't even know if he's taken any threes this year, maybe 3 or 4 of them. But that's the question. Can you have two guys like that don't shoot the three very well? But good call.